So when you talk about cryptography, there's usually three main topics that come up. One's encryption, one's tokenization, and one's hashing. So today we'll talk about how each of these is accomplished and then also what they're generally used for. So encryption is a reversible math equation. The idea is if you know the algorithm that's being used and you have the key that's being used, you're able to decrypt those messages. And so this is very popular when you have multiple parties that need to read and write information. A really common example is HTTPS. When you're trying to send data to or receive data from a website, you need to have an agreed upon way to encrypt and decrypt all of those messages that nobody else on the web is able to intercept and understand. So you establish what's called a session key. Both parties use this key to encrypt their data that travels across the wire and then decrypt on the other side. Now, if we get over to tokenization, this is typically using a substitute value in place of the actual value. And so to get the value out that you want, you either need the vault, or in some cases, they will use an algorithm. But the idea is you have a single place where you store the actual important information, and in the other cases, you just store a value that points to the actual value. So this is really popular with the payment card industry. If you take everybody's credit cards and you put them into a vault, and then you assign a token an arbitrary value that represents that card, you can store that somewhere else. It's not as big of a deal if that information is leaked. And then when you do need the credit card value for a transaction, you go to the vault, you retrieve it, and you use it. And then if you get over to hashing, and hashing is pretty unique in that it's actually irreversible. And so you use an algorithm, you take some input value, and then it turns into some output value. And you never need the original value again, you just need to know what the hashed value is. And so this is very, very popular with passwords. Something where you only need to check if the input is correct. You don't actually need to know what the input was. So if you take a password and the user tries to log in, all you have to do is run their attempted login info through your hashing algorithm and check if what comes out on the other side matches the value you have stored for them. And if it does, you can confirm that they gave you the right input. You don't actually have to know what the input was, but you know it was correct. And so this has been a breakdown of three very common topics in cryptography: encryption, tokenization, and hashing. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.